Once upon a time in the ancient kingdom of Magadha, there lived a humble potter named Kavi, whose hands shaped clay into pots, vessels, and lamps that brought light and water to many homes. He was known far and wide, not for riches or beauty, but for his unyielding spirit and quiet determination. The kingdom faced a great drought. Rivers shrank wells, dried fields cracked like old parchment, and people whispered that the gods had turned away. Hunger crept into villages and despair hung heavy in the air. Yet Kavi refused to bow. He rose before dawn. Every day gathered what little clay remained from the parched riverbed, carried it miles to his wheel, and worked tirelessly crafting simple water jars. Sturdy bowls and oil lamps, he sold them for whatever grain or coin villagers could spare, often giving more than he took his wife. Mira watched with worried eyes, saying, "Husband, the clay is scarce. The wheel turns slower. Why not rest or leave for the city where rain still falls?" Kavi smiled gently and replied, "Mira, if I stop shaping the clay, who will hold the water when the first drop comes? If I stop turning the wheel, who will bring light when darkness falls? The drought tests us, but it does not define us. I shape not just pots, but hope one vessel at a time." Seasons passed. The sun blazed mercilessly, neighbors sold their tools, migrated to distant lands, or sat idle waiting for miracles. Kavi's hands grew rougher, his back bent deeper, his pots fewer, yet he persisted. He experimented mixing sand ash and river mud to make stronger clay. He built a small kiln from broken bricks, fired it with dried twigs and cow dung. Anything that burned, he shared his methods with a few young boys who stayed teaching them the patience of the wheel, the rhythm of the foot, the feel of wet earth yielding to intent. Slowly, a small circle formed around him. Boys, daughters, elders came, not for charity but for purpose. They learned to dig deeper for hidden moisture, to mix clay with care, to fire pots that lasted longer together. They produced more lamps that lit homes at night, more jars that carried what little water remained. The village elder, once proud and now weary, came to Kavi one evening saying, "Son, your stubbornness borders on folly. The king himself has declared the land cursed. Why fight what the heavens decree?" Kavi bowed respectfully and answered, "Respected one, the heavens send drought, but they also send hands, minds, and hearts. If we wait for rain without action, we invite death. If we act with what we have, we invite life." The elder shook his head but left a small sack of grain as silent thanks word of the potter's quiet defiance spread to the palace. The young King Arjuna, weary of petitions and empty granaries, rode out one day disguised as a traveler. To see for himself, he arrived at Kavi's humble yard, watched the potter at his wheel, hands, steady eyes focused, despite the heat and hunger. The king asked, "Why do you labor so when all seems lost?" Kavi, without pausing, replied, "Honored stranger, because loss is only final when we accept it. I shape clay because it reminds me that even dry earth can hold life when shaped with care and fired with will." The king revealed himself and said, "Potter, your persistence has reached my ears, but the kingdom starves. What can pots do against famine?" Kavi met the king's gaze calmly and said, "Majesty, pots hold grain when it comes. Lamps guide seekers home. Jars carry medicine and water to the sick. If we keep faith and keep working when rain returns, we will be ready, not broken, but built stronger." The king pondered, then ordered royal supplies of clay tools and wood sent to Kavi's yard. He declared a workshop of hope, where any willing soul could learn the craft. Months later, when the monsoon finally broke, heavy rains fell, rivers swelled, fields greened overnight. The kingdom rejoiced. But the true miracle was not just the rain. It was the readiness. People had jars to store, water pots to cook grain lamps, to light celebrations, homes that stood firm because of quiet hands that never stopped. The king summoned Kavi to the palace and offered him gold land, a title. Kavi bowed deeply and said, "Majesty, I need no title. My reward is seeing the village drink, eat, and smile again. If you wish to honor persistence, let every child learn that one small act repeated becomes unbreakable strength. The king nodded and decreed that in every village a wheel and kiln would stand, teaching resilience to generations from that day forward. Kavi the potter became legend, not as a hero of swords or crowns, but as the man who shaped hope from dust, who turned drought into determination, who reminded all that true resilience is not waiting for the storm to pass, but dancing in the rain with a vessel ready to catch every drop. And so in Magadha, the story of the potter lives on, whispered at wells, told under banyan trees carved in memory, a reminder that once upon a time a simple man with calloused hands proved that never giving up is the greatest craft of all. The throne of resilience is not seized in battle, it is built. Battle it is built day by day, turn by turn, shape by shape until even the harshest earth yields to the power of persistent heart.